Yo, Tuesday. What's going on, guys? Yep, still doing these videos every week, every Tuesday for like the last 14 weeks. I can't count very high, so we're probably going to quit counting the weeks. But appreciate you guys watching this. First tip of the day, don't wear a flannel button up with a sweater over it if it's not under 50 degrees. I'm dying. I'm sweating. It's awful. I sweat anyway, which I'm sure comments will be there. I'm hairy. We sweat. It happens. I'm sorry. But today I was going to touch briefly. I just did a video and it ended up being 6 minutes long, so I was like, hated it. So I'm not going to do a 6 minute long video. But timelines, expectation for the loan process. Man, sounds super easy. I send my tax returns, my pay stubs, and some bank statements. Get it done. I should close, right? Not really. So something to help you guys out. I won't touch base on this too long, but TRID, T-R-I-D. Check it out. Google it. It kind of explains kind of the new process. It's a great thing for customers. It's been out since about this time last year. It's something that kind of universalizes everything, keeps everything consistent. But with that, there's some time guidelines. So there's certain things that kind of hold up the process that we can't just, close. And then other things, processing and underwriting times. From a loan officer standpoint, I'm really in control of about like 30% of this. It's, help finding the customer or getting in contact with the realtor, locking the loan and getting all the docs in. After that, I become kind of a coordinator. I become the head coach in that, if you watch football much, head coach really doesn't do much. He's really good at being at press conferences, but when the team wins, the head coach gets, the cool emails and the cool press conference, but at the same time, when the team loses, it's not the quarterback's fault. It's not the offensive coordinator's fault. It's the head coach's job. But realistically, the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, quarterback, they're the ones that determine everything. I'm just coordinating everybody. So, something to know is that when you need an answer, if there's any issues in the process, reach out to me or reach out to your loan officer. But what we're doing is we're just reaching out to the processor, underwriter, or team manager and getting your answer, then relaying it to you. Now, good loan officers are going to do that and do that fast. And that's what I do. I'm a coordinator. I'm very cool with doing that. But what a lot of people don't understand is sometimes, when we need to send a loan to the underwriter, and usually you send a loan probably once, twice, sometimes 3 times, which you want to avoid, but at least once or twice to an underwriter. And it takes 2 or 3 days, for an underwriter to review it, per company. I mean, some companies are different, but I'd say that's pretty average because I've worked at a couple and I have friends at others. But, just something to kind of expectation is that when you get into a process, instead of me knocking out line by line by line like I just did, took me 6 minutes, just make sure that you have that upfront conversation. It's something that I've started to have that, realize that, obviously sometimes it can be simple, but there's a lot of timelines that are out of our control. Now, we can get things closed fast, but we have to have the help, from the other side in that you want to get all your documents as quick as you can. If you want to get a loan closed and a loan closed quick, keep us from having to ask for stuff. Once we ask for something, get it all the first time. Secondly, when it comes to the closing, that's the most stressful part of it is the very end. And a lot of times because we're uneducated on the process or the turn times, you get a little antsy. I will say, probably the best advice that I can give is that the loan officer is going to be your key for info on that. And for the most part, no news is good news when it comes to closing. So if you've got a closing in 2 days and they haven't reached out to you like, oh man, I don't know what's going to go on, or hey, we've got a problem, then chances are there's probably not a problem and they're probably working on something else because they're not worried about your deal. So no news close to closing is a good thing. What you'll see is that a lot of times, and this is something I tried to work to educate with my realtors that I work with a bunch, there's going to be a lot of excitement from the real estate side because, sometimes a real estate agent covers not only the buyer, but the seller too. So you've got both sides. As a loan officer, my customer is obviously the customer that's getting the loan, but the realtors are customers as well. But my and our, just in general, first line of defense is that we want to keep our customers updated. So realtors, if you have any concerns about closing, chances are if you reach out to the customer and say, hey, have you heard from Tyler? Or hey, have you heard from so-and-so? They're going to be completely updated. They're going to be the ones that we are going to be updating the most. Now, I do my best to try to update my realtors every time I speak to a customer, but sometimes we can't, do that, because we do have, multiple customers. But I would say from a realtor standpoint, reach out to the customer first and say, hey, do we have an update here? And then, reach out to the LO accordingly. But just know, no news is good news towards the end of the process. And sometimes, the way that it goes is you sign a closing disclosure, initial closing disclosure, and your loan cannot close within 3 days of that being signed. Best case scenario, we get docs to the title company 2 days before close. I'll say that doesn't happen, tremendous amount of time. And again, I'm speaking for myself. Sometimes it does, and maybe some others are just awesome and AKA not busy and are able to do that. But 99% of the time, you're probably going to get those docs to the title company probably the day before closing. Sometimes it happens same day, which happens probably about 1 out of 10 loans. It happens, but if I have not communicated, or the loan officer has not communicated that we're going to have any issues with close, it's probably not going to be. Also, another tip, when it comes to closing, don't schedule closings on Mondays or Fridays. Do that because we want to move. You want a 3-day weekend to move. So do that, but don't schedule on Mondays and Fridays in the morning. Try to do it later in the day, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. That way, knowing that everybody schedules their house to close on a Thursday or a Friday or a Monday, doing it later in the day allows for any last second issues. So if there's any last second issues, they have time to fix those, but we're not sitting at the closing table for 2 hours. I've had that happen before. But I just want to touch base with you. It looks like I ended up taking 6 minutes anyway. Thank you guys. Merry Christmas. Flannel shirts are hot. I love Facebook. And don't buy anybody fruitcake this year. It's stupid. All right, bye.